Okay, we are seeing reports that we do have a new pope, and that new pope is going to walk out onto the balcony and be introduced any moment now. No word on what papal name this new pope will be known by.
But it looks possibly, potentially, we are seeing words of maybe an American Catholic new pope. We're going to bring in Rebecca Castor, who's actually in the Vatican area, listening and getting all the information there. Rebecca, what are you hearing out of Rome right now?
Okay, so we do have the answer for who the new pope is going to be. They just came out on the balcony and declared the words habeas papam. That is Latin for we have a pope. And this is a shocker, guys. He is American. That is really surprising. It is Robert Francis of Chicago, and he is going to go by the name Leo the XIV. Now, it's really surprising that he's American because historically, the sentiment among the College of Cardinals has been that America already has too much power on the world stage. So there has not been any appetite up until this point for the pontiff to be from the States, but clearly they have, changed their feelings here. But I will note, we're just kind of reading up on Francis now. He's from Chicago, but he did a lot of his ministry outside of the U.S. He has not lived in the United States for years. He's done a lot of his work in Italy and Peru. So clearly here, the Cardinals were able to look past his U.S. passport and appoint him to be the next Holy Father.
69 years old, came to the Vatican in 2023 to serve as the head of the office that vets bishop nominations from around the world. And this is one of the most important jobs in the Catholic Church. And obviously, Prevost had a fair amount of sway over the cardinals there in the conclave to be able to be elevated to the position to be elected Pope today.
Clearly he did, and looking at the images from St. Peter's Square right now, we can see, the Americans that are there waving their American flags. Now, I don't think yet, I'm watching this a long time with you guys, I didn't see him come out on the balcony yet, so I think we're still waiting for that. All we saw were the senior leadership come out and announce it, so we're still waiting for him to come out and make his first appearance, wearing that sacred white robe for the first time, and we believe he's going to give a blessing. So that should be happening any minute now.
For that, I know that a lot of us in anticipation, we talked about maybe an American Pope, Rebecca, but it didn't seem so plausible as other options that were out there, and the first and foremost front runners, and deciding in those 133 members of the conclave in there that this would be an American Pope. This is something very historic on top of just an overall historic event.
Yeah, this was really not on our radar, to be honest. So it's interesting. It will be interesting to see if we hear any of those details of what happened behind the closed doors of the Sistine Chapel. Of course, it is supposed to be secretive, but in previous conclaves, there have been some leaks, and we have gotten some insight about, who the front runners were in the beginning and why some of them fell off, and who, kind of gained support at the final hour here. So you can presume that this candidate, he ended up getting clearly the magic number of 89 votes to become the Pope. And it was likely because one of those front runners wasn't able to garner enough support. So when that happens, the Cardinals have to start making that tough decision, moving on to their second, third, or fourth choice. And they also have to start thinking about, well, who do I not want to be Pope? And, they might choose, somebody that maybe is not their first or second or third or fourth pick, but it's somebody that they see has a lot of support amongst their fellow cardinals, and maybe the other guy was somebody they definitely didn't want to be Pope, so maybe that's why people, moved over to different blocks here. So those are some specific details that we might not get to find out, but clearly the front runners that everybody was talking about before the conclave weren't able to garner the support to get to the finish line.
Yeah, and certainly a shock to the world in Vatican City there. Everyone kind of quieting sitting down now waiting to see if he does come out. Back in 2015, we mentioned that, you know, he did a lot of work in Peru. In 2015, Francis became a naturalized citizen of Peru, as confirmed by Peru's National Civil Registry. So it's interesting to see the routes, the longevity of his career and where he's gone and who he's connected with to make this an overall statement to push forward an American Pope in that area. I can only imagine what you're going to see as he steps out there and what the crowds are going to see in the days to come. So we will look forward to that for sure as well.
And so an American Pope, and Robert Prevost becomes the first American Pope. He will be known as Pope Leo the XIV, and there he is right now for the very first time, appearing on the balcony and waving to the thousands there in St. Peter's Square.